Zara was an ambitious architect who had poured years of hard work into building a career. She spent countless late nights drafting blueprints, supervising construction sites, and meeting impossible deadlines. She remembered the countless nights she had spent on different projects, surviving on coffee and determination, while her friends built family and planned vacations. Now, all that effort had finally paid off. She had just been promoted to lead architect at one of the most prestigious firms in the city. It was a dream come true in her career. Yet, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that something was still missing. It was as if her achievement hadn't filled the void she hadn't known existed until now. Zara adjusted the strap of her dress nervously, her eyes darting towards her reflection in the window. The woman staring back at her looked polished and confident, but Zara knew better. Beneath the flawless makeup and tailored red dress was a woman who felt anything but sure. She had spent years climbing the corporate ladder, sacrificing sleep and social life for this promotion, and now that she had it, she felt empty. She smoothed the fabric at her waist and took a steadying breath. Tonight was supposed to be about celebrating, not just her promotion, but something even bigger. David, her boyfriend, had been acting strange all week, distracted, nervous, and overly sweet. Zara had a sinking feeling that tonight he was going to propose. And while most women would be thrilled, Zara wasn't sure she was ready, especially not now, not with the secret she hadn't even admitted to herself. She pushed the thoughts aside and forced a smile as she glanced at her reflection once again. Little did she know, the celebration tonight was only the beginning of the drama that was about to unfold. David's voice broke through her thoughts. "You're overthinking again, aren't you?" She looked up to find him watching her, that warm, steady gaze of his, cutting through her nerves. He reached for her hand and squeezed it gently. "Relax, Zara. You've earned this. Let yourself enjoy it." Zara smiled faintly, letting him guide her inside. The restaurant buzzed with life, laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the soft hum of a piano. It all felt too fancy, too perfect, but David had insisted on making the night perfect. Zara's heels clinked softly on the marble floor as David led her inside, and she felt eyes turning towards them. "Wow," Zara murmured, looking around. She leaned closer. "You didn't have to do all of this, David." "You deserve it," he said, putting out a chair. "Now sit, relax, and let tonight be about you." She smiled faintly and sat down, though the knot in her stomach refused to ease. The waiter appeared almost immediately, pouring sparkling wine into their glasses. David raised his glass, his eyes locked on Zara's. "Here is to my superstar," he said, his voice steady but full of pride. "Congratulations again, babe. I am so proud of you." Zara smiled, brushing back a loose strand of hair. "Thank you, but let's be honest, you are the one who kept pushing me when I wanted to give up." David chuckled. "And look at you now, top of your department, smart, beautiful, and unstoppable." She laughed softly, taking a sip of her drink. For a moment, everything felt perfect, but then David shifted nervously in his seat. He cleared his throat and glanced at his watch, as though waiting for right moment. Zara noticed and tilted her head. "Are you okay?" David stood suddenly, tapping his glass with a fork. The gentle shimmer cut through the noise, and conversations around them quieted. Zara froze, her eyes widening in disbelief. "What are you doing?" she whispered, her voice sharp but shaking. David ignored her, smiling as he addressed the room. "Excuse me, everyone," he said. "I hope you don't mind the interruption, but tonight is a special night. This amazing woman just got a promotion, and I think it's time we take another big step." Gasps rippled through the room as David reached into his pocket, putting out a small red box. Zara's heart raised. Excitement and dread collided inside her. Was she ready for this? Her mind flashed through their happiest moments, their arguments, and the doubt she had kept to herself. David opened the box, revealing a sparkling diamond ring. The light caught it perfectly, making it gleam. "Zara, will you marry me?" The restaurant fell silent, all eyes on her. Zara's breath caught. Her heart pounded so loudly, she wondered if everyone else could hear it. Tears pricked her eyes, and for the briefest moment, she felt like the world had stopped spinning. Yes, she whispered, then louder, yes. Applause erupted. David slipped the ring onto her finger, and Zara threw her arms around him, laughing and crying at the same time. But even amidst the joy, doubts lingered. She couldn't ignore the voice in her head, asking if she had made the right choice. That night, long after David fell asleep, Zara lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The nausea came suddenly, forcing her out of the bed and into a nightmare she hadn't even seen coming. The next morning, Zara woke up with a dull ache in her stomach. She groaned and rolled over. For days, she had been exhausted, brushing off the nausea and fatigue as the stress of work and wedding planning. But this morning felt different. Her body felt off, heavier somehow. She dragged herself to the bathroom and splashed cold water on her face, staring at her reflection in the mirror. Maybe it's nothing, she thought, or maybe it's something. Her hands trembled as she opened the drawer under the sink and pulled out a pregnancy test, the one she had bought weeks ago, just in case. She never thought she would actually need it. She closed her eyes, whispering prayers and fears under her breath. Every second felt like an hour as she waited. Her mind played out scenarios. David leaving, a career crashing, a life spiraling out of control, and then the results, 2 pink lines. Minutes later, Zara sat on the edge of her bed, staring down at the test in her hand. The 2 pink lines stared back at her, loud and unrelenting. Her heart raced. She swallowed hard, but the lump in her throat refused to go away. No, 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 she whispered. This can't be happening. This changes everything, Zara thought, gripping the test, the promotion, the wedding. Will David still see me the same way? Will I lose everything I've worked so hard for? Tears blurred her vision. She set the test down carefully, as if touching it too hard might change the result. She grabbed her phone and dialed quickly. Lola, I need you, she said the moment her best friend picked up. Lola's voice came through, shares as always. Good morning to you too. What's wrong? I think I'm pregnant. The silence on the other end felt heavy, but only for a moment. Then Lola screamed, What? Pregnant? Zara, this is huge. It's a disaster, Zara said, pacing the room. We just got engaged. My career is finally taking off. I can't handle this right now. Calm down, Lola said. Breathe. It's not the end of the world. Zara shook her head. You don't get it. This changes everything. What if David isn't ready? What if this ruins everything? David loves you. You will figure it out together. But Zara wasn't convinced. She sank back onto the bed, holding her stomach. The weight of the secret pressed down on her. She couldn't tell him. Not yet. Days passed before Zara could find the courage to tell David. Her thoughts raced with fears of his reaction. What if he panicked? What if he felt trapped? She rehearsed the conversation over and over, but the words stuck in her throat. Finally, she blurted it out one evening after dinner. David, I'm pregnant, she said, her heart pounding. David's eyes widened. Are you serious? We are having a baby. Before she could respond, he swept her into his arms, laughing. This is amazing. Zara froze. She hadn't expected that reaction. Relief flooded through her, but it was quickly replaced by doubt. What if the excitement didn't last? What if reality hits him later? And her fears weren't far off. Over the next few days, David's initial excitement began to fade. He started coming home late. His smiles felt forced, and their conversations became shorter. She noticed how often he checked his phone, and now he stepped out of the room to take calls. One night, Zara walked past the study and heard his low voice. I told you I would handle it. She can't find out, not yet. Her heart pounded. She pressed ears closer. Was he talking to another woman? Her stomach tightened. Later that evening, she checked his phone and saw a call log labeled Mom. Relief washed over her, but suspicion lingered. What was he hiding from her? Was she ready to face the truth or the lies? Days later, Zara sat on the couch, clutching a mug of tea, her eyes staring blankly at the TV. I thought we were far away. She replayed the past few days in her mind. David's distracted behaviors, the whispers, the late night phone calls. Something wasn't right. The phone buzzed beside her. David's name flashed across the screen. He hesitated before answering. Hello? Hey, babe, he said, his voice sounding forced. I'll be home late again. Meeting ran over. Zara bit her lip. David, we need to talk when you get home. There was a pause. Sure, he said, we will talk. Hours later, David walked in. Zara stood in the living room, arms crossed. What's wrong, David? Who is this strange person always calling you? David's face paled. What? The calls? The whispers? What's going on? He sighed, dropping his bag. Zara, sit down. No, just tell me. David ran a hand through his hair. It's my ex, Chioma. She called after hearing the news of us getting married. She said she had a child and she claimed it's mine. Zara staggered back, her knees shaking and her heart pounding as if it was going to explode. What? I didn't know, Zara. I swear. She says she kept it a secret all these years. I was trying to figure out if it was true or not before I told you. Tears welled up in Zara's eyes. And you thought hiding it was the best idea? I didn't know, and I didn't want to upset you until I knew more. But now I am upset, Zara shouted. How do I trust you after this? David stepped closer, his voice low. Because I love you. I will fix this, Zara. I promise. Zara shook her head, stepping back. I need time to think. Zara sat alone staring at the engagement ring on her finger as tears streamed down her face. Determined to get answers, Zara decided to meet Chioma face to face. Lola insisted on going with her for support. When they arrived, Chioma opened the door, looking nervous but defensive. After tense introductions, Zara asked, Why now? Why bring this up after all these years? Chioma's confidence wavered. I thought he should know. Don't you think he has the right to the truth? But as the conversation dragged on, inconsistencies in Chioma's story started to surface. Zara pressed harder, and Chioma eventually broke down, admitting it was all lies. She had been bitter about David moving on and wanted to ruin his happiness. Relieved but shaken, Zara left, only to experience sudden sharp pain in her stomach later that night. At the hospital, the doctor assured her that the baby was fine, but Zara was terrified. Back at home, Lola comforted her. You need to trust him, Zara. Focus on the present, not the past. Zara wiped her tears, knowing she had to make a decision to trust David or let fear ruin everything. Zara stood at the window, staring out at the city lights. Her hands rested on her stomach, and her engagement ring gleamed under the dim lights. It felt heavier now. The weight of decisions yet to be made pressed down on her. David walked in, pausing when he saw her. Zara. She didn't turn around. Do you still want this? She asked, her voice soft but carrying the weight of uncertainty. David moved closer. What do you mean? This. She gestured vaguely at her stomach, the ring, and the apartment around them. Us, the baby, the wedding, all of it. He stepped closer, gently turning her to face him. Zara, I love you. I've always loved you. I want this, but I need to know you still do too. Tears welled up in her eyes. I'm scared, David. What if I'm not ready? What if I can't do this? What if... He cupped her face, wiping away tears with his thumb. No one's ever ready, but we will figure it out together. You are not alone, Zara. Her voice cracked. But what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough to be a mom or a wife? David smiled softly. You're already more than enough. You are strong, smart, and kind. You face challenges and come out stronger every time. And you won't be doing this alone. I am here, every step of the way. Zara stared at him for a moment, searching his eyes. She wanted to believe him, but fear still lingered. You have to trust me, David said, his voice steady, and trust yourself. Zara exhaled slowly, her shoulders relaxing. Okay. She nodded, a small but genuine smile breaking through her tears. I am ready. David pulled her into a tight embrace, pressing a kiss against her forehead. We are ready. Zara looked into the mirror, her reflection stronger and more confident than before. She touches her belly and smiles, finally embracing a new reality. The wedding day arrived, simple but elegant. Zara and David exchanged vows in front of close family and friends, laughter and happy tears filling the room. It wasn't the extravagant ceremony Zara had once imagined, but it was perfect in its own way, filled with love and perfection. Zara looked radiant in her simple yet elegant dress. She clasped David's hands tightly as they exchanged vows, her heart racing, not from fear, but from hope. For the first time in weeks, she felt ready, ready to trust, ready to love, and ready to step into the unknown. Later that evening, Zara and David sat in their apartment, surrounded by unopened gifts and baby clothes. David struggled to assemble a crib, grumbling as he wrestled with the instructions. Zara laughed. "Are you sure you are ready for this?" David looked up, his eyes twinkling. "Ready or not, here we go." Zara leaned back, her hand resting protectively on her stomach. She smiled, feeling the baby move for the first time. It was subtle, but it was there, a sign of life and hope. "Are you sure this thing won't fall apart the moment baby moves?" He joked. Zara laughed. Zara laughed. "Not if you read the instruction properly this time." As they finished, Zara leaned back, resting her hand on her belly. "We are really doing this, aren't we?" David took her hand. "Ready or not?" They smiled, their eyes filled with hope as they faced the unknown together, prepared to embrace whatever life brought next. What would you do in an unexpected life-changing moment? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Bye.